Hey guys, all right. It's Brett from Iron Body Martial Arts here. How's it going? If you don't know, I run a channel here on YouTube that focuses mainly on old style traditional martial arts and conditioning training, some militaristic style toughness and endurance training, and a little bit of law enforcement and realistic mindset about like martial arts and self-defense. It is an absolute honor and a privilege, I tell you that, to have none other than Mr. Dave Leduc here, the king of Lethwei. I've been hit by multiple headbutts at the moment. I'm stunned. So Dave, how's it going, man? Handing over to you.
And we don't want to get headbutted. That the goal is to avoid them. But yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
It's cool to be with you guys.
Oh man. Once again, man, I just like to say I really appreciate your time. I know that you're a busy guy, and we've been trying to set this up, but
Yeah.
this is awesome, man. This is awesome.
Yeah. So you guys are in Australia, and I'm stuck in Canada right now.
Oh, okay. Oh, excellent, mate. How's the weather out? Bit of.
It's okay right now, but the snow's coming, and I can't wait to. I don't like the cold. So, and minus 25 degrees Celsius in winter here, minus 30 degrees
Jesus.
Celsius. So I actually have property in Cyprus, and that's why I want to retire. It's an island in the Mediterranean, so
Yeah.
I don't want to. I love my country, but I don't like the snow.
Okay, so no Rocky style log holding, jumping around in the snow. None of that for Dave Leduc.
Maybe we did a thing with my Sifu, my coach. We did a thing last year. I think it's on YouTube. There's a thing, old school martial art that they had in his backyard, was like a very narrow wooden box which you can come in from the top, and it simulates. They call it the elevator. So we did that in the middle of the winter. I think it's there, and we basically, you pretend like you're in a narrow space, and you. It was freezing cold, and then you pretend like the fight breaks out in the elevator. So you can't run, you have to fight in close quarter combat. So whatever I'm here during winter, we play in the snow a bit.
Wow, man, that's like some kind of crazy Shaolin death box.
You would like the compound we have in Canada here. My Sifu, because we come from a Jikundo background, Fang Cheng. That's what I started. Sanda and Sanchao, and I never did the actual traditional path, like the kung fu path, but my Sifu like applied the principles of 5 ways of attack and being unpredictable, programming the brain, like all these principles, and actually headbutts. That's why I was ready for Lethwei. Well, but basically we have a compound in Canada, Castleman in Ontario, Canada, and it's basically like you're transported into like China. It's a pagoda basically, which it's our training center. It's traditional style with the rock. I've shared it a couple of times, and people freak out. They don't believe it's in Canada, and yeah, we have many acres. We can do. I love to do training camps there, but it literally looks like China. It's amazing.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah. And my other my other Sifu basically is he loves, like, again, iron body stuff, and I did that in one of my Lethwei Tuesdays. I think it's on YouTube. Yeah. I don't know if you saw it, but we did iron palm, iron fist body and technique. So he has very, very strong hands, and I'm a big proponent of having a strong neck.
Yes.
Strong hands, especially in Lethwei, it's crucial to not have broken bones. A lot of foreigners fight in Lethwei, and I see them after the fight. I see their hands in ice bucket, broken hands. The Burmese. The Burmese don't have any issue for that. Strong bones over generations and generation. But we did that video, and I just saw iron body martial art. It's exactly what we did. It was a pellet bag, a bag of pellets with metal pellets, and we smash the back of our hands, the fingertips, smash everything on, and base. It's I have goosebumps just thinking about it. It's really painful, but you kind of train your mind to detach pain in your body.
Yeah, man, that's so awesome, because I was gonna ask you a bit about your early life, because obviously, I mean, you're a champion of like Lethwei, but I was going to ask you at first a bit about your early life into martial arts.
Okay.
And well, you've pretty much just pushed it all out there, which is awesome.
Yeah,
like
we started
mental connection.
Yeah, but the way I started was in Canada again, and at first I just wanted to do grappling. I loved sambo and a lot of I still train my ground every day, and but I fell in love with striking, and that's what I really like. And yeah, it was a transition. I actually had a league. I spoke about it on the Joe Rogan podcast. I had a league. It was called the SFL, and I was organizing once a month a grappling tournament, and I was the promoter, basically matchmaking, and
wow.
It was submission only. It was very fun. Guys from pro, amateur, just competing, and did that for a few years, and then. But yeah, then after seeing all these fights happening, I was like, you know what? I want to compete myself. I was quite young, and I was around 18, and I said, you know what? Like, I want to fight. So I started fighting amateur. But to answer your question, Brett, like from a young age, from like 17, 18, my sifu showed me some old videos of Lethwei in Myanmar, and it felt so foreign. It felt so raw. And me being like a black sheep, and I know you're a police officer, but like me, I always like to defy authority. Well, not policeman. I really respect. But I'm authority in general. Like I don't like to go on the path that's that you were told to do. Nothing illegal. It's just like I don't want. Yeah, that's just, I guess I can resume it like that. I just like to be different, and I felt like being a Lethwei fighter was completely different from all the Aussie, the British, all the foreigners fighting in Lethwei. There's like and Muay Thai in Thailand. It was a multitude of that, and I never wanted to be just in that same basket as them. So I wanted to find my niche, find my thing. So fighting in Thailand, you've been to Thailand?
No, I haven't. Oh, wait, I lied. I've been on holiday, because it's quite close here,
Yeah, it is close. Yeah, exactly. A lot of Australians go, but it's actually from Bangkok to Myanmar to Burma, it's only an hour flight. So it's like now that the country is opening the borders to democratic and it's opening to tourism, we're going to see a big rise in tourism because of Lethwei and everything. But just wanted to finish my point that.
No, go ahead, man.
That. When I fought in Thailand, it's because it was just a matter of convenience, and because if you look at when Myanmar got their independence, was like from the military dictatorship, it was around 2010, 2011, and it was just slowly starting to implement, opening the borders. And even now in 2020, it's still very, very low tourism in Myanmar right now. And I'm trying to change that through sports, which it's happening because people. The more people like the sport, the more people are going to want to go to the route and experience it, live it, see the culture, taste the food. So who would have thought that the sport would be paving the way to like a national boom of tourism? It's clearly what's happening right now, and I'm super proud of it.
No, mate. I mean, it's awesome the work that you've done, because when you look up Lethwei, it's Dave Leduc. And sorry, I hope I'm pronouncing your surname right. Am I pronouncing it right?
Yeah, Leduc. It's a French slang.
Because it's Dave Leduc, and it's you up there. You see the fight between you and, is it, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Is it like Tu Min?
Yes,
the guy. So he's the guy you fought, I believe, in 2016 for your like first title. And reading into it a bit, it seems like you kind of just went there and you just freaking fought this guy. I mean, how did that come about?
Yeah, that's a great question. The thing that people need to understand, if they're the new viewers, is that the difference between Lethwei and Thailand. First of all, it's a millennia-old martial art. Lethwei is, and Thailand, Muay Thai is only a couple hundred years old. It got evolved from Muay Baran, like Thailand. Sorry, let me recap.
Yeah.
Lethwei is 2,000 years old. We have drawings in pagodas in Myanmar, like showing the age of Lethwei, and it's a very old martial art. And then if you look at Muay Thai, which is only a few hundred years old, they got like evolved from Muay Boran. Muay Boran was like a kind of a traditional martial art in Thailand with headbutts allowed and like ropes. So that actually comes, if you look at the lineage, it's pointing at the years that the Burmese army was looting and destroying and attacking Thailand, because they dominated Chiang Mai and parts of Thailand, and basically planted their seeds of their martial art into Siam, into Thailand. So regardless, without going too much in history, Lethwei is extremely it's like the big brother of Muay Thai, basically more brutal, more rule, more permissive. Takedown, for people that don't know, like takedowns are allowed. You can suplex, you can throw body lock. The reason why you can also do like single leg, double leg takedowns, for those who like MMA, the reason why you can do them is that on the way down you can actually headbutt as you're going down, so you can strike all the way to the floor. And the mentality of Lethwei is like, we're all brotherhood, so that we're on the ground, we help each other up, and then we continue fighting. You fall down, you continue fighting. So like it's all about honor and respect. And even beyond that, in traditional Lethwei, which I fought most of my fights, is that you can even have a 2-minute timeout sometimes, where it's allowed. So basically, like, let's say Brett knocks me out, I go to my corner, and then I get a 2-minute revival time, and then I can go back in the fight. That comes from the grudge matches back in the days, when there's a lot of like high stake of honor and families, and the grudge match. So it kind of stayed. And but yeah, again, no gloves. Headbutts allowed, elbows, knee kicks, everything goes. You can even do strikes that are like illegal in the UFC, like such as like 12-6 elbows and back of the head. They don't give a shit. It's very, very fluid. They let you fight, and you can go crazy. All of this to bring you to your question.
It's so good.
So basically, I never wanted. I always wanted to go to Myanmar, but I didn't know how. So I didn't care about anything else. I got I was fighting in parallel. I was fighting in the meantime to get experience, which I did in Canada and Thailand. But my goal was always like, I want to go to Myanmar, but how the fuck do I do this, right? And because it was extremely, you need to either have like a belt, you need to have a pedigree, you need to be known. Or be like a replacement, in order to get called to go to Myanmar. Now Burma changed to Myanmar. Yeah. And so like no matter what, I had to raise my name, I had to raise my experience in order to go. So the long story short is that I got into prison fight in Bangkok. So prison fight was a program to get your what is it called? Foreigners would fight fighters that have experience in Muay Thai, or have a fight, and that if they would, the prisoner would win, they would get their sentence reduced. Yeah. So that's
crazy stuff.
It was very controversial, and I won my fight, and then I kept in touch with the promoter of this event. And a few years later, I needed, I was still making. Thailand, you don't make a lot of money. Like even the high level fights in Thai fights and other promotion, you were talking maximum like $1,000. I think it's even like against their champions and stuff like that. So I was making like $200 a fight in Thailand. I was like, and it felt so close to Myanmar. We're at the border of Myanmar. Thailand and Myanmar are two neighboring countries. So I was here. I was stuck in Thailand, making shit money. So I'm like calling the promoter from Prison Fight. I tell him, "Hey boss, do you have any fights for me?" He's like, "Well, I don't promote Muay Thai anymore. I promote Lethwei." I said, "What? Wow. Are you fucking kidding me? That's my dream." He said, "Well, Dave, you only have like 10 fights, and they're not Lethwei fights, they're Muay Thai fights. So they're like, they don't really, it's not like you fought the real deal." So I was like, "I know, but like, me, I was ready for prison fight. I was there. I'm fucking ready. Any weight, just give me a fight. So I was like, well, I'll see what I can do. Actually, I have a fight for you, potentially against Tutu. So not Tuntun Min, Tutu. He was a 75 kg champion, 36-0, undefeated. You know, fought Lethwei all his life. Tough
shit, man.
Tough dude, headbutts, and basically, I said, yeah, let's sign me up. He said, we have to, like, I spoke about this on Joe Rogan. I said, they had to lie on my record. So they had to say, like, I had more fights than I had, because otherwise they were not able to justify this whole dude from Canada going to Myanmar fighting for the championship. But again, I was always ready mentally, because even like with my Sifu, we're training headbutts in close quarters. We're training, you know, aggressive elbows, and we're not in that box of which everybody goes. Like most Muay Thai champion, like Thai champions, they go to Myanmar to fight, to test themselves, and they go into that, you know, the Thai style, and they get the best they can do is a draw. It's very, I don't even know when, you know, if they actually want to fight. So they get overwhelmed by the pain threshold of when you're clinched, you have another limb in the middle, which you're not used to it. And again, punching without gloves is the same. We don't know. I don't know if you know your viewers, but probably, you know, you talk about, you know, Iron Body, so you know it. But punching without gloves, with no wrist support, with the knuckles exposed, you know, like it's extremely different. We don't know how dependent we are of gloves until we take them off. So I suggest everybody watching this to try on the bag the next time they go to the gym, to actually punch bare knuckle back session. I do it, you know, a couple times a week, just to toughen up and get used to that. You know, because with hand wraps and the gloves, your wrist is almost immobile, like it doesn't move. But once you punch, your wrist can collapse, and that's what you don't want. You want a tough wrist, you know. So that's the story. So just to tell you, basically, in order to get to that fight, and in order to also dominate in my first Lethwei fight against, you know, veteran, I had to be not into that like Taekwondo, MMA, Muay Thai box. You couldn't be in that box. I think the best way to perform and to succeed in Lethwei is to be like a free fighter. You have to be able to do, you know, unpredictable stuff, kicking, elbowing, you know, not be normal again. So I attribute my success to this, and to be really ready to die in the ring, basically.
So that's basically it sounds like that is basically as close as it comes to just a real, well, like you say, life or death combat. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and that's the mentality I have before the fight. Like I'm thinking, I'm afraid, like a scared animal, basically. And a scared animal, what does it do? I don't know if you're encountering them during your work, you know, side of the road as a police officer, but like a scared animal or injured dog, injured animal is extremely unpredictable, extremely volatile, and like even if you go there with the best intentions and you try to help them, they might try to bite you, they might try to peck you, they might try to do anything. Like get the fuck out of here, like leave me alone. Like they feel like they're about to get you know, hunted by a predator, so they're very, very scared. And this mentality of being, and again, you never know what they're gonna do. They never know if he's gonna jump on you, if you know, if the cobra's gonna fucking bite you. That's the mentality I have before the fight. I'm scared. I know that he's training to, you know, not only humiliate me, take my status, take my income, take my pride, but he's there to actually legitimately like hurt me and lacerate me and draw blood from, concuss me. So like that pisses me off, and that. If it doesn't piss you off, like, well, you eventually, you know, you're gonna hit your man, and you're not at a good place. It has to piss you off. It has to, like, oh yeah, you're there. You want to fight? You think you have a chance? Well, I'll show you. Like, you know, like. So basically, it's extremely scary, and people that say it's not scary, they're lying. It's everything leading to the fight, like walking there, your brain is telling you not to do it. It's like bungee jumping.
Wow.
Have you done bungee jumping?
I haven't done bungee jumping. No.
So it's the same thing. You're like give me 1 second. My Sifu's actually calling me.
Yeah, no. Yeah, go ahead, man.
He's like, we're negotiating a fight right now.
Oh yes.
Mhm.
He's like, why aren't you training? I sense you're not training.
I'm not training. I just did it today a lot.
Oh yeah, I'm sure, man. Because it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon for you guys, isn't it?
Yeah. We train in the morning. But yeah, basically, I was gonna say, what was I? I was talking about what?
You're talking about how the feeling of like life and death when you went into that prison fight, which I was going to ask you about, but we've got there anyway, which is awesome. Yeah. So yeah, just carry on, man.
Yeah, I think it's the same. This fear is very healthy and very normal, and actually the reason why I embrace it so much is because that fear makes me more aware and heighten my senses, if I may. Like my eyes I see better, I hear better, I smell better. Like it's basically you're like a very alert animal, and I think it's needed. And then you make better, potentially big. If you control that fear, you make better decisions. You make make better choices during the fight. You're more aware. I'm sure as a police officer they tell you as well that control that don't smash him in the head, like try to de-escalate the situation, control that fear. So it's the same thing, like we can't let it just roam around. Like I have to be aware. But yeah, we're talking about bungee jumping, and your body is telling you like, okay, that's fucking high. So if you jump, because he doesn't know your legs are attached, but if you jump, you're gonna die. So your body is like, he's pumping adrenaline in your body, same as a fight, and he's like, don't go. But then you go beyond your brain, and you're like, yes, I'm going. I know it's safe, so I'm gonna go. And then you get that of adrenaline. So I did it last week for my 4th time, and that was it's a cool rush. It's like before a fight. But now I want to do. I already done skydiving, but I want to push it.
Okay.
I want to push it even more. I want to do a wingsuit. So that's something.
Oh. So yeah.
You need to do many jumps in order. I think it's 200 jumps in order to qualify for the wingsuit, and then you can jump, and you can. Yeah, if you don't know what wingsuit is, guys, Google it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've seen the wingsuit where they freaking, because you can control, like you obviously descend a lot slower. But they go. You see them going in between like valleys and peaks and over like ravines.
Yeah,
man, that looks mad, man.
Go forward. It's meant to like go a long distance instead of going from up down. You go like you can travel a lot. So it's like you're basically flying. Very cool. Yeah.
Well, Dave, it doesn't surprise me, mate, that anyone who would go to Burma and do like a prison bare knuckle death fight, something from like a Van Damme film, is would like wing jumping.
The opposite is not true though, right? Like some guys that do wingsuit, I'm sure they wouldn't go in the ring and do this. So.
Oh, true.
True. But go ahead.
Sorry, mate. Just to clarify for people out there, you've been a fighter pretty much since you started, because you've done, because that was one of the questions a lot of the guys wanted me to ask you, but you only have to look online for a second, but you've done taekwondo, you've done sanshao, like you were into combat like straight away, like you said. You didn't go the traditional route. You've done the jeet kune do, you've done MMA, like as we would call it, MMA. So competitively, I think you've done competitive Muay Thai, you've done competitive MMA. So you've pretty much been fighting since like how old? Like 17? Is that right?
Yeah.
Like.
Started martial art at 17, and then I did some inter-school fighting, like exhibition fights, pretty much right away in MMA, and at around like 17, or 17, 18, and a lot of grappling competitions as well. People don't know that, but like that's it's like my first love. Like I really love ground. I love wrestling, and so it's something I think in order to be a complete fighter, you need to have. You can't just like be able to. You're good on your feet, but if you can't, so I enjoy that, and maybe in the future there's I'll because I get a lot of offers, in one championship, and we'll see what right now I have a lot of a lot of things I want to continue to do because I really love fighting.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna. But again, it's not. I'm not chasing any more titles because
No.
my goal was to be world champion, and I've done it. Now I do it because I enjoy it. I would actually. I told my wife the other day I would do it for free. Like I love it so much. I'm grateful that I reached a certain place in my life that I'm able to do stuff that I like. Of course, I'm not gonna say no to the money, but like I literally, when you want to know, like, would you do it for free? If you answer yes to any question of your hobbies and life,
Wow. Yeah.
well, that's when you know you're doing it for the right reason. Like,
Yeah.
Because I know for a fact that I was in the beginning, I was fighting for, I wouldn't say the wrong reason, but I would say I was fighting for to patch like some kind of trauma from my childhood. We all have traumas, right? We all have, some girls they're daddy issues, or mommy issues, or we have all different paths. My path, I was not getting along with my family, and I left the family house. I got kicked out of the house, and I guess I tried to, I was trying to consciously show them that I can succeed without any help. Like I can do it.
Yeah.
I can be somebody. But again, I can't spit on these traumas because they made me who I am. But it's just funny how we kind of come as a blank page when we're young, and then all these things happen to us, all these memories and all these events, some traumatic, some not, and they forge us into who we are. People forget that, like, so, yeah.
But on that note of that, Dave, it sounds like, because one of the biggest questions people ask, they'll ask a lot of people, but one of the biggest questions people ask me, and I guess I'll extend that on to you, is that how do you make yourself a warrior? How do you get that? Because I know you don't even have to look, you've got that fighting spirit, because you talked about it before when you're talking about the fear in the ring, and how to turn that on. Because a lot of people, like in real situations, like we can be calm and nice like we are now, but in real, like I know as well from real situations, like that's why some people come to me, silly running a YouTube channel, and they say, well, you don't know real life and you don't know this. But I know, and you really know, that when you're in that life and death situation, someone's attacking you, someone's coming at you, and you've got that fear for life, you can switch on like a freaking tiger rage. And that I don't know if you'd agree, but that is your warrior spirit, is it not? So a lot of people say to me, how do you get that? How do you get that warrior spirit?
Well, actually, I think that my answer is not going to be, it's not going to please them, or like they're not going to like it. But you can learn language, you can learn how to cook, you can learn how to sew, you can learn a bunch of things, you can learn how to edit videos and make videos. But my sifu, and I agree with him, is that some guys will never be, or girls will never be the best fighters. It's just not in them. And you can reach a potential, but that's why, like, I would never run as fast as Usain Bolt. Even if I tried, like, as much as I can, I would run. I would reach a peak. I was a baseball player before. I was a pitcher, and I reached, like, my maximum was something like the mid 80 miles per hour in baseball, which, you kind of 84, 80, 85, you need a minimum of 90 miles per hour fastball if you want to make it to the big league. So my point is, I think, first of all, there's two answers to that. Like, you need to experience it. Like, for example, if a guy comes at you during your work, and he's coming with a weapon, well, you never know how you're going to react until it happens to you. You can drill it, and you can drill it, but but my point is, you have to live it. So you have to, I guess they have to put themselves in these type of scenarios. So you have to spar, you have to fight, you have to live it and pump that adrenaline in your veins, and then you can experience it and evolve. Like, I'm not the same fighter that I was when I fought a couple of years ago. Like, I evolve and I change. But how do you do it? I think it's based on your trauma. It's like, A lot of it's based on what you experience. Like if you had it like a goody good life all your life, you know, great parents, great, never missed of anything, and you're born in, for example, some guys are born into money, and then they don't have that fire. And actually, their side note, the one of the most one of the most like sad people are the guys that are born into you know, trust fund babies. They're born into.
Oh yeah.
They never accomplished anything. They just had this money, you know, given to them, and they're like, fuck, they just feel empty and unhappy. So honestly, in order to, and I've seen a lot of people talk about this as well. I like a guy, Gary V. He spoke up because he's a Russian immigrant coming to America. But basically, that like mentality of you know, immigrant or being you know, shopping at Salvation Army when you're young. I don't know.
Yeah.
That forged, like, that made you like kind of want more and make you ambitious, because you're not ambitious if you're born into money. Like, you're not ambitious if you it's very rare. There's probably exceptions, but like I can show you a lot of guys that immigrate to, you know, Australia, Canada, USA, and they were like in for example, let's say Middle East with nothing. And now they want to make it. They're fucking hungry.
They're hungry.
Yeah, they're hungry. Like, you need to be hungry. So I was hungry for many different reasons, but not for the reason that I missed anything in my childhood. I didn't miss anything. Yeah. I was hungry for other reasons. And the other part of that is like, for me, how do I? Because I know my animal is inside of me. I just need to get it out. And I actually, it's funny you said that. Like, I have a drill. I never speak about that actually, because it's a bit weird and people don't get it. But it's how to practice to get my worrior out, in and out, fast pace. So for example, I'm able to be extremely brutal, extremely aggressive, but then a few seconds later, like a second later, I could shake the hand of an elderly lady and help her with her groceries. So that's, I really take pride in that, and to be able to switch back and forth. And I think it's crucial in life or death scenarios. Like, let's say you're walking with your wife, and and you want to protect her, and something happens. You're all smiley with her, and then boom, some guys try to rob you guys. You have to switch fast, you know. So that it's actually called the warrior cry, like the warrior scream. And I do that.
Excellent.
I do that before every time before my fights. I go after my hands are wrapped, and I go. I'm ready to step in. I go to a corner, and I do that before every fight. I go in the corner, and I repeat to myself that he wants to hurt me, he wants to, you know, knock me out, he wants to make me bloody, and he would take a lot of pride into this, right? So he wants to humiliate me and take my like I said earlier, my income, my status, the income that comes with the status, everything. And then I just, you know, I just let go a massive scream that probably looks that everybody in the stadium here. I just scream as loud as I can, and this is like a mechanic. It's like a physical trigger. By screaming loud, it triggers like all the adrenaline, and like I said earlier, my sense and height and my hair rise, and it's like a porcupine. Like, I'm ready. Like So this is my tactic to answer your question. Like, how do I get the warrior out? I scream. I scream very loud, and then I actually have my eyes are the water when I scream, because I feel all this emotion, the mix of emotion. Yeah, it's very intense. And then, you know, my wife is always there with me, and she always very silent when I do this, because I guess it's very
because it's scary,
impressive. It's very scary, and what the fuck's happening, right? But and that's how I do it.
Man, that hopefully that'll resonate with a lot of well, it will with a lot of fighters. But when I hear that, it resonates with me 100%, because you'll know from your traditional training as well, and in the traditional martial arts, they always talk about the ki or the shout or things like that, you know. And I believe that that's the perfect personification of that. Not like you see on the footages of people going ki like this, you know, ki, but the real essence of it. And especially like I studied like Japanese Budo for quite a few years, like you know, like old style traditional jiu-jitsu, and there's a lot in there about intention just like that, like trying to summon the intention of like as if you're going to be killed, and using that in your fighting. And that's exactly what you're talking about there, is that it's a feeling and you can't make it tangible. So like I really appreciate you sharing that like here, because I understand. And that's another reason, like I've got this tattoo here of like a resting tiger. Like you see, it's the only one I have. It's not finished yet, but it's what you were talking about, because that resting tiger is like my manifestation of that, because it's like all the things that's happened to me in my life, and even out on the street or whatever, and I'll be there like this, and I'll listen and I'll care, and I'll be out with my wife and I'll care and I'll listen. But then you need that in life, like what you've said, you need that. But then if someone messes with you, like they say, there's a saying, there's nothing more like deadly or dangerous than like a tiger with its cubs. You know, you need that immediate like nurturing. But then someone comes at you, someone's got a knife, or you're in a prison fight. You're crazy. You're in a prison fight, and you need that
I'm sure your resting tiger is ready to jump at any time if he gets awakened, right? That resting tiger is sleeping, but he's ready to jump.
So that is a cool, like such a cool story, and hopefully some people will be able to practice that or try it. You know, if ever, you know, I certainly know if I ever have a competitive match, like a proper one, you know, I'll remember this story that you told me. You know, just that method of trying to just wake your inner self up and go like, man, this isn't. And that's another thing. I talk a lot on my channel about, I don't know if you'll agree, and this is why I like Lethwei, this is why I've been attracted to Lethwei, is that because if you do like a lot of traditional martial arts and you don't have a fighting record, you know, like you don't do like ring fighting or sport fighting, you know, a lot of people, YouTube's like a silly place where a lot of children are, but a lot of people say, oh, you don't know what real life is, you don't know what fighting is. So I don't know if you agree with this statement. Like I said, I trained in a fight club and I have big respect for those kind of sports, but it seems like that difference between real life and sparring, like I always say to people, I say, guys, look, sparring is awesome, and this seems to be what you've tapped into, and it seems to be what exists in Lethwei, to be a champion. I'm like, guys, the difference between a bit of a Muay Thai match, like with your friends and some gloves and even a ring fight, and like real life, like someone trying to take your head off, it's completely different. As someone who lives in street fight land, basically yourself, do you agree with that statement, or do you think it's worlds apart?
No, I agree.
It's another world.
Yeah, it's really...
But it's cool because it seems to be all those feelings and emotion that you were talking about. It seems to manifest in a lot of the Lethwei fighting, you know, and like what you said about having to just be this free sort of force. You know. So that's awesome, man. So that's what drew me to Lethwei. So another reason I'm so glad to talk to you today.
And the funny part is that I just remembered that when I watched the videos, I'm sure I was again 17, and I continued watching them throughout my my early 20s, right? And I remember watching one of actually Tun Tun Min, and actually Tun Tun Min, you know, I'm 28 right now. He's 27, so he's actually younger than me.
Oh, okay.
And so he was already, you know, fighting. He has over 70 fights. He was already fighting. Wow. So I was while I was in Canada, not with no professional fight at all. I was already, even think about that, like he's already fighting in Lethwei, in Myanmar. His fights are already on YouTube, and I was in Canada, in the worlds apart, worlds away, with not even at the time. If he would have met me and him, he would have, you know, destroyed me, and it was because I was not even a fighter yet. But I catch on to this, you know, and again in the same, just in parallel, I catched on to it, and now we actually ended up fighting Not only once, not twice, but we fought 3 times, and actually, won the belt from him. So it's pretty insane that how sometimes life plays out. Like watching his fights, and at the time not being a fighter myself, learning extensively and like catching up fast for years. And he was from a family of generation of Lethwei fighters and Lethwei champions, learning from a young age the principle of headbutt, and I was from a good guy in Canada, like a good boy in Canada. So it's completely different parallel.
Wow.
And everything was not looking good for me, because I was sent there to lose. Basically, they had to line the record, say like if the guy wins, it looks good because he beat a guy with a high record, and if the Burmese loses, well, he lost against a good guy, but I wasn't, my pedigree was not there yet, but ended up dominating the fights again 2-2, and then I was asked by the promoters, do you want to challenge Tun Tun Min, who is the openweight champ? So I said, yeah, let's do it. So after my first Lethwei fight, my second fight right away, the same night at the hotel room, got a knock in the room, got paid, and he said, by the way, you're fighting in October. 2 months later, you're fighting for the belt. Sorry, no, it wasn't for the belt, that fight, but you're fighting for against Tun Tun Min, right? So it was everything happened very fast, but I like to think of myself that I work well under pressure.
Yeah, well, you've shown it there, man. Because actually, you reminded me of something I was going to ask you, but it's more of a statement, but it's kind of like a testament to you. And I was going to say it about the prison fight, but it's like you were severely disadvantaged, but it's kind of like you were talking about the fear and everything like that. You kind of like, as well as all your skill, you've kind of like used that to your advantage. It switched you on. I mean, you're a fighter anyway, but yeah, man, it's a testament to you how good a fighter you are. How you've gone there. Because I've seen the 3 fights that you had with Tun Tun Min, especially the first one, which is
first one he started very strong, and very,
man, he coming at you in that fight. Like, he comes at you and he's like, but another thing I wanted to say to you as well, not like powdering you up here, but you fought I forget his name off the top of my head. He's a white. I just remember because I've seen it a few years ago. But he's a white guy, and he's got like a bit of a Russian-y sounding surname, or like a bit of a Polak kind of surname.
I don't know who you thought. I fought him.
Yeah, you fought the guys that
recently.
Oh no, it's a few years ago. I can find him. I can find his name on here. But I remember seeing the fight with him and how it just. I don't know if it's from the fight pedigree, and obviously you trained at Tiger Muay Thai as well. But you just dominated that guy.
Jump in here, like about the Tiger Muay Thai thing. A lot of, and that's what kind of I wish I don't want to say I wish I didn't go. Like, I enjoyed my time there. I had a lot of good friends, and I still have friends there. But the thing is, people mistakenly think that I was there and I learned Muay Thai. No, not at all.
Okay.
I did not learn anything there. I was in a pro fight ring, and I was there sparring every day, clinching every day, and basically just like fighting every day, and then running, and then it was a great place. And I think it's one of the best places in the world to like get in shape and like get practice what you already know. But I was not taught one thing in for the 3 years that I lived there. It was so I was actually like talking with my coach often and say, I want to what should I practice, and we're keeping in touch. So technically, like the reason why I'm saying like I'm not sour is that because I stayed in Thailand for a few years, and now with the rivalry that Thailand has with Myanmar, Muay Thai and Lethwei, it kind of people don't think further. They don't actually search, and they don't look at. There's actually articles on that I explained that I never really liked Muay Thai. I didn't like that it was gloves. I didn't like that I had to fight in an intricate scoring system. I didn't like that.
Yes.
I had to the punches were not counting for much, and only the kicks were counting for points.
Yep.
And so like even if you bloody up the nose of your opponent, if he low kicks you, he wins the exchange. I didn't like that.
No.
So it was just, again, it was a perfect place for me to get experience and get ring experience, and train and put get my pedigree higher in order to get to prison fight, and then in order to get to Lethwei. But
Okay.
yeah, so basically, yeah, it was a great place to train.
Yeah. Okay. No, perfectly understood, man. So you just literally used it as an experience ground for like people. People to use, people to train.
I don't know if I will ever go back to Thailand for the rest of my life. Like that's how much like the rivalry is big. Like I don't think I'll ever step foot in Thailand ever again in my life. I'm gonna I have fights lined up and with other Thai champions, and it just doesn't make sense. And I know that it would be frowned upon from my fans.
Yeah.
We're people that don't know, but like in Myanmar, there's 55 million people. It's I don't know how many in Australia, but do you know how many in Australia? I'm curious.
I think in the whole of Australia, last time I checked, there's only 22 million people.
Oh, really?
And
okay.
it's a bit sparsely.
It's way bigger than Myanmar.
Yeah.
We're talking about a lot of people that have like their national sport is Lethwei, and it's like a religion for them. Grandmothers like it, women like it, kids like it. It's just everywhere in every state of Myanmar, and going there to train to fight in Lethwei makes no sense to me. So, even though like the training is great, like there's a lot of people going there, but like I don't have any my next fights I will I don't know how to verbalize it, but I will go very deep into that rivalry between Thailand and Myanmar.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that the band of Thailand will not come from me not wanting to go, but it will come from the monarchy not wanting me to come. Actually, that's what.
Okay.
That's how I think the rivalry is going to go.
Wow.
Modern day, like we're settling all the feud. So I'm curious. I can't wait to announce the fight in next year. But yeah, it's very specific, very special situation between the two countries.
Yeah.
So
man, that's
you were talking about training and fighting for my last fight.
Yeah. No, mate. No, thanks for telling that, mate. Because I mean, you can't. There's so many intricacies, and it must be. I never thought about it, but of course, what a hell of a burden, because you've taken on the national trophy. It's like someone in England, like David Beckham doing in England. David Beckham, it's like being the top football star or being the top. You've got that belt of the whole country's honor. Because I remember.
It's more than the sport now. Like in a way, the people, they count on me to bring tourism and to fill up in a way, like hotels and restaurants. Like they want their country to shine worldwide. And as much as my opponents were, I respect them so much and extremely tough and pedigree, like very thick. As much as they're extremely strong, legends of the sport in Myanmar.
Yeah.
They were not able to speak English or French or like other languages, but mostly English, and that's what was missing in order to shine, I think, to the world. And again, I'm happy that the fans accepted me so well, and But again, I showed that I care and I showed that I love, and we got married in Myanmar. We got So it's very touching that they accept us, but. I'm trying to do my best to basically, it's like I'm giving back what they gave me. Like they changed my life, changed my family's life. Like my wife and I were able to live a better life because of the sport. So I want to give back to them.
Oh, excellent, mate. Well, I remember a good this is a testament to a good quote that you said. I remember seeing a quote, having a look online, where you said you fight for honor and glory, or glory and honor. I can't remember which way around, but that was a really that's when you get places, like you say, because you're doing it because you're not getting paid. Well, sorry, you are getting paid, but
actually, that fight that you're referring to, I said that to the Bangkok Post after my fight in Thailand, in the prison. Actually, that was for prison fight, and
that's it. Yep.
I'm not. They're fighting for their freedom. They're fighting to get their sentence reduced, and I'm fighting for honor and freedom and glory. And I'm not. I only admitted it a few years ago, but for that fight in the prison, I knew that it would raise my. It would be a great story to tell to my grandchildren. It's very special, but I actually paid to go to fly there. Fly to Bangkok. I paid for my hotel. I paid for my Turkish friend to come corner me. So it cost me a couple $1,000s just to be able to go there, and I didn't get paid. So I get paid for the prison fight. I fought there for free.
Well, there we go, mate. There we go.
That's a great thing that people need to remember. Like sometimes when like if you're, let's say you're a private trainer and you wanna move up the ranks, so maybe you have to do some free training to some key people, and then it will, So sometimes it's important to do the right thing at the right time. So this at the time of my career was a good thing to do, and I wouldn't do it anymore, obviously. But if you don't sacrifice stuff sometimes, or if you don't you'll never get anywhere.
No. But looking online as well. Is it right? You used to have a limousine company, is that right? So So that it kind of the moment I saw that, I was like, oh, this makes sense, because this he knows how to make his way in the world, and he's already an entrepreneur and like his own sort of businessman. So you got to be your own. Sorry, man.
Leduc Limousine, it was called.
Yeah. But that's so cool, because obviously I've put my work life was a lot of remedial jobs, because I was training like, for me, martial arts was all that I loved, and I wasted my early education, and up until my early 20s I kind of like sacrificed my education and other things, and I was just doing like my silly martial arts and going to my clubs, and it was only so I wasn't an entrepreneur, but I got tired of being in like shitty jobs, like working in factories and this and that. So that's when I then kind of had to make a bit of a sacrifice and join the police. But I very much respected. I was like, man, why couldn't I have been a bit more smart like Dave and be like trying to be an entrepreneur or something, But anyway, man, that's awesome. Hey, I know it's been, I don't know how much time you have, but I really appreciate your time. But I wanted to talk to you now a bit about some of the conditioning training, some of the toughness training. I mean, we can see it all online, but about some of the different kinds of training and bone training that you do, and what things you find most helpful for you in your fighting.
We kind of spoke about the iron palm training, the bare knuckle back session, as a couple times a week. I do a lot of one of the videos that is quite popular on my channel now on Untitled Chapter on YouTube is my push-ups that I do to strengthen my hands, like the finger push-ups in order to get the ligaments, the tendons, and the bone. All stuff, and the wrist push up, the knuckle push up. So all these things I do, and I keep it simple, to be honest. Like I'm not, I'm all about longevity. So as much as Lethwei is brutal, I'm not trying to like hurt myself or injure myself in training and do crazy. So I think it go like, I don't want to overdo it. So I'm doing like very smart thing in order to like solidify my bone density and like just. So like again, I keep it simple. My push-ups, my bare knuckle back session, and a lot of you know, ab and core workout to like getting hit balls, getting, you know, not in the balls, but getting like big balls on the stomach. Basically, getting used to. I do also a drill with my sifu. Often it's the like punch for punch, and we just punch, like, let's say 3 punch for 3 punch and 3 punch, kick and a low kick, and basically getting used to not flinching, getting hit in the leg and the body and the sternum and the shoulders and the neck, and so yeah, I think people shouldn't overdo it. My mentality of the Leduc Lethwei mentality is like the new generation Lethwei fighter. We're not the Burmese guys that I fight. You know, they have a skull like very strong, and they put their chin down, and then you can, if you hit the top of their head, you can break your hand on their forehead. So first of all, you have to have good hands, but I don't like the you know, if you get 2 tough guys, well, you might by blocking with your head, you might get cut, and they have a lot of scar tissue because of that. I take a lot of pride in not being evasive and not getting touched much. So yeah, I actually don't. I really am very careful in training and I'm very careful in the fight as well. I think the best way to show your dominance as a fighter is to be able to inflict without receiving.
Yeah. No, that's great, mate. So in essence, you're taking, because I understand what you're saying with the conditioning thing, because like crazy conditioning and wooden hitting wooden stuff and iron bags
sporadically, not every day, not every week. So yes, absolutely, I'll do it as well. We spoke off camera, you know, like we hit our forearm to forearm, like this. And that, again, similar feeling that from the warrior cry, because it kind of heighten all your senses. You feel very alert and very alive because it hurts and your adrenaline and pumps. But we did it a couple days ago actually with my sifu, just hitting our forearm like this, and that's good for when you double arm block for, you know, kicks, when you block kicks, and so this is pretty much what I do. There are obviously a few other things, but that's the core of my endurance training.
That's awesome, man, because that sounds like as well there's quite a lot of what you'd call sort of iron body training there, which I guess is actually quite common and normal for fighters. But you know, this punch for punch, you see that a lot in traditional Kyokushin.
It's called iron body. We called it the iron body actually, so that's what we do.
Good.
Yeah, we punch it, and
So okay, because I mean, because you're obviously your sifu's from kung fu, so it must be the same methodologies as like I would recognize, or we would recognize of you know, repetitive strikes, like behind me here I've got, what is it? Behind me here I've got things like this, like a, you know, like a reed striker for freaking striking your shins and body. You start off with this kind of thing, so you're probably all familiar with all those sorts of things and hitting each other and those strikes. But what I like is, like, a lot of us traditional guys, you know, we can go a bit crazy with the, you know, all the conditioning all the time. But like you've just said there, it's good advice for people, is that you do actually have to, you know, you can, like, I don't know, you've probably see those guys in China, and your sifu, and you all know, you know, those guys who like have the big fat hands and they smash the bricks, and you know, they're really powerful fighters. But I mean, I don't know about you, but I know how much time, that's why they're always older guys. I know how much time you have to spend, you know, having trained a lot of iron palm, like iron fist. Like, I've got videos of me like bending like a rebar, you know, like a steel bar with strikes. So that takes like 4 or 5 years of training, like 2-3 hours a day. So but like, I like your approach, because you're doing some old style traditional conditioning. You're doing that old style toughness, but you're keeping it in its place.
Yeah, you know? For purpose. There's a purpose, not just, you know, like I always despise the breaking boards and all these things, like, just, you know, like karate. Like, I don't know what do you think about it, but like I just think it's useless, and I think it's I actually, I like the endurance of Kyokushin karate guys and karate, but extremely bad habits to not kick, not to be able to punch the face. For me, it doesn't make any sense. Like, why would you train your life and and having like a low guard and that makes no sense. When you're gonna go to a real fight, you can get your face punched, and those karate kata of like one hand is low, one hand is high makes no. It's the worst thing you can teach a kid is how to put his hand to his hip, and so I think like iron body is good, iron training is good, but you have to do it for like a purpose and not to injure yourself.
No, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Hey Dave, you've just let me know. Let me know if you're.
I have to go in a few minutes.
Okay, man. Hey, it's been awesome talking to you. Do you mind? How many minutes do you have? Do you mind if I chuck a few questions from the guys at you?
Let's do it.
Excellent, man. So I got some here. Where did I put them? Put them on my emails. I'll see some of the good ones. But I don't know. It's So I don't know. Some of them might be quite in depth, but just I don't know. We'll just try and chop through them. So there's a guy, Ryan Brem, founder here. He says, what's your opinion of like Lethwei, and what you've probably answered this as well, why it's not as popular as like Muay Thai or MMA or kickboxing?
Well, it's very simple. It's because it's a coincidence. It's a pure coincidence because again, Lethwei is the ancestor of Muay Thai and South Asian martial art. And if you look at the way the history has worked with the colonial times in Myanmar and the military dictatorship, and basically prior to that, they were doing extremely well around the world. They were extremely. Give me 1 second. 1 second.
Yeah, no worries, man.
So basically, the military dictatorship was extremely. Give me 1 second. All right, sorry, I forgot. So basically, the reason why they didn't it played out by a pure coincidence because Myanmar was completely in the shadow, was sanctioned by the military, by the world governments like USA, and they were really in the shadow of the world. And then once until only recently, like I said, 2010s, they started opening to democratic and accepting tourism slowly. But before that, it was Thailand had the green light to they didn't have any opposition, right? Myanmar was completely dealing with issues with military and like they were not even known to the world. And then they were just able to export their traditional martial art, their martial art to the world, and starting having schools around. So that we're talking about like hundreds of years, like 100 years or so of problems in Myanmar, and then so technically, if Myanmar wasn't in the shadow of the world and wasn't sanctioned and wasn't under military rule, I'm very confident that it would be the opposite, because we would have Lethwei gyms around the world and very few Muay Thai gyms, because people would realize, you know what, Lethwei is cooler and there's more there's more brutal, it's more effective. So they're honestly, they're lucky. That's part of the things that I'm talking about, is like Muay Thai and Thailand was lucky as fuck that Myanmar was not able to retaliate, were not able to speak up. They were dealing with big issues until even me, like I learned about Lethwei, and then I realized, oh, what's Myanmar? I didn't even know what Myanmar was. very few people knew what Myanmar was. And if you didn't know the country, do you think they knew what the sport was? Absolutely not. So the sport was, was only popular for the people, the 50 million plus people, and they were bringing champions from other countries, Russia, New Zealand, name it, that were champions in other disciplines. But what I'm working on right now is that we can get guys to amateur championships and gyms to train their fighters at a young age in order to train Lethwei at a young age, and not just like transition after they accomplish in their other martial arts. But basically, the reason why it's not as mainstream yet, I think it's going to take a while, but it's happening. But again, I don't need Lethwei to be legal everywhere. It's not a necessity. It's not important. It's with the pay-per-view, with the streaming, people can watch it in the comfort of their home from ever we are. Actually, my next fight is going to be on pay-per-view, the first ever Lethwei pay-per-view, and I'm excited for that. But yeah, it's legal. Lethwei is legal in a few countries like Taiwan, Singapore, Slovakia, Russia, the United States, and a few places. So it's happening. But yeah, to answer his question, it's a lot of coincidences, and they're fucking lucky because Lethwei is cooler in every aspect and more free. So that's the answer.
Dave, on that note, another guy, but it goes on from what you're saying. William Kritz, he asked, are you going to release? He says, are you going to release, or have you released any like material? Like online stuff that people can learn from, are you going to do anything like that, or you done anything?
On my page, if they follow me on Instagram on King Leduc, I shared, I did a course, a fundamental course on Lethwei, from into four part of Lethwei, from stance all the way to more technical, more complex. That was with Dynamic Striking. They're like they're the same company as BJJ Fanatics. They do courses, and they do. So I did that last couple months ago, and it was a big hit. So I guess they're not watching carefully enough. That's in the meantime, because in the future, and I was supposed to do it this year, but I'm going to do it next year. I'm filming my own Lethwei Academy online, so it's going to be really from white shorts all the way to black shorts, all the way like all the techniques, all my curriculum of techniques, but it's not yet ready.
Okay, so that's going to be within you on your website.
It's going to be on leduclethwei.com. Yes, it's going to be an online academy. Yeah.
Cool.
You
That's
can
awesome, man.
get tested. You can rank up. So it's going to be very exciting.
Oh, fantastic, man. And also another question. I know we know there's talk, or there's been talk online about Burkow and you. Is this one of these? Is this what you were alluding to before?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. Like. Basically, the fight is under negotiation, but it's going to be in 221. I can't speak of many things too much. Okay. Yeah, it's that's what I said. He likes to shake the picture of the king, and after I'm gonna beat him up and all these things, they're not gonna want me there, because I'm bad for business. I'm bad for the tourism. I'm bad for Muay Thai. Because again, same thing as what I'm preaching for Lethwei. The more Lethwei gets famous, the more now it's on UFC Fight Pass. I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna fight on. I know I'm signed with the WLC. We're fighting all around the world, and they're freaking out because now they're losing. It's like a business, right? They're losing shares. They're losing shares of the market. The market being like combat sport, striking, whatever. And Lethwei is taking the majority of that share. And Muay Thai brings tourism to Thailand, obviously. And when I'm gonna, I already beat up Muay Thai champion, but like the more I do it, the more they're afraid of, like, fuck, instead of going to Thailand, I'll go to Myanmar. It's also cheaper. The people are nicer. I don't want to say that there's a lot. I met a lot of nice people in Thailand, but the fact that a lot of places like Koh Phi Phi, places, the party places, the foreigners, they sleep with each other on the beach. They have sex on the beach. They get drunk. I understand that a lot of Thai people are fed up and they don't care about the foreigners anymore. while in Myanmar there's no tourism, so hopefully they keep like that after tourism grows. But they're extremely kind, extremely polite, extremely humble, and they're very, very like smiling and shy, and like they're so untouched. It's an untouched country, and it's crazy that we're living it right now, because this boom, economic boom, or discovery of a country usually happens once in a lifetime. You know, like this is happening under our eyes right now, and we're seeing it in Myanmar. Yeah.
Oh, well, it sounds like a fantastic place to visit. And if I go that way again, once everything opens up, I certainly plan to have a visit there, and hopefully I can reach out to you, and you can tell me some good places to go.
Absolutely. And I think if you want to, there's not too late. If you want to join us on the retreat next year, there's a retreat I'm organizing in Myanmar, so we'll talk off camera.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it's
that sounds awesome.
It's in a beautiful country, and I suggest everybody to go to go visit it. It's rich culture. Like everywhere you go, it's they have temples. There's gold. It's crazy.
And Dave, one more question, one more question from a guy.
Yeah.
And then there's a guy called Isaac Denbo. So he's one of the guys that I kind of tutor a bit online, and he's asked you a number of questions, but the main one is, I think it's a good question. He says, what made your most difficult, so it's two, what made your most difficult opponent difficult to fight? So in there's two questions, I guess, is who was your most difficult opponent, and what made them difficult to fight?
Well, it's my biggest rival, my how do you call that? My I can say my rival Tuntun Min. We had a trilogy fight together, and he's again the knockout king of Lethwei. He was very brutalizing all of his opponents, and basically I had to adapt, and that's what I think it's in life, adapt or die, and I adapted in a very short amount of time. You know, we had 70 fights. I had only 10, and not even in Lethwei. And basically, he was kicking. You know, he was catching my leg kicks, my push kicks in the stomach. So I had to adapt very fast to kick the leg instead of the stomach. By kicking the leg, he was not able to defend it as easy. And but basically, the reason why he was so tough is that he's like a bull and extremely brutal. I can say he was coming in very, very closing the distance very fast with punches, and once you go inside with him, and if you don't cover you properly for the headbutt, let's say you grab the body instead. Well, he would do a side headbutt, and he knocked out a lot of guys like this. So he's good in he's good in close quarters with the headbutts and strong punches. He's good puncher. So that was my hardest opponent.
Okay, thanks, Dave. And look, Dave, we've held you here for long enough. So I mean, look, I could just keep throwing questions and stuff at you, but for your own good, I'm gonna release you from this trap.
My parents just like so we have a supper.
Oh, okay, mate.
It's a pleasure, guys, and I hope they enjoy the answers. And thanks for having me, Brett.
Yeah, mate. Look, it's a pleasure to have you, mate. And yeah, once again, I appreciate your time so much. But parents and family, as I know, it's so important. So they're not always around. So thank you very much, mate. And keep inspiring people. Keep up the freaking awesome work, and keep the fight alive, which I'm sure you will.
If I may say something for people, if it can help them for something, I would say the thing that I wish somebody would have told me earlier is that whatever you visualize, you can materialize. So whatever you want to do, and you can actually visualize it in your head, see it in your head, or even materialize it like as a physical on a piece of paper. Whatever your mind can conceive, you can achieve. So it's very inspiring to think like that, and it's very freeing to see that there's nothing beyond our capabilities. Like if I didn't think I was capable of achieving greatness or achieving stuff, like I would not be able to do it. You have to first see it in your head. If you're not able to see it, you'll never achieve it. You have to be able to see it and live it almost.
Excellent. Wise words. Wise words from the king of Lethwei. Respect, my friend. Respect.
It's a pleasure. Thank you, Brett. We'll talk soon.
I'll stop that. Is that stopped?